Hi, I'm Ainsley Taylor, and today I have the challenging task of introducing one of my best friends, Caroline O'Brien. When people say it is hard to sum up someone in a couple of sentences, they do not know Caroline. This is borderline impossible. Caroline and I have been best friends for forever. The whole class of 23 can tell you that we have heard everything, and when I say everything, I mean everything about Caroline's life. She overshares daily in the den, but in my life, she has done this for years. Caroline is a very outgoing person, and here's the best way I can describe her. It is late at night, and you're on the beach. You look over, and you see people running around the beach screaming. This is Caroline for you. She is free-spirited, does not care about what anyone else thinks, and is crazy fun. She has been with me through a lot, and I am so happy to call her one of my best friends. Lori and Dan, you raised her well. So without further ado, I give you the girl with 12 toes, Caroline Collins O'Brien.
Seven years ago, my big sister stood up here and talked about how we are all someone's sunshine. I thought this was horrible coming from her, especially because she had threatened to leave me on the side of the road during the drive to school that very morning. She banned me from crossing the threshold into her bedroom, told me that her life was better before I was born, and woke me up at all hours of the night to go downstairs and get her a Diet Coke. But Mary Elise never let me feel left out around her cool older friends. She called me every week of college just to hear my voice. She always drops everything to answer the phone and will make the 6-hour drive from Atlanta to Memphis when she knows I need her. She was, and still is, my role model and my sunshine. And when I would go and get her a Diet Coke, that was her sunshine. It just took me longer to realize the way she was showing me love because it was different from the way I expressed my own, especially when I was so little. And a lot of the time, this happens to all of us, in friendships, relationships, and even situations we aren't directly involved in. When the good isn't the good we're used to, we sometimes can't even recognize it. It's easy to assume that the people we don't like are just unlikable. We want others to dislike them too, so we feel validated. But the truth is, even if one person seems completely unbearable, there is someone who loves them. Their mom will be excited to see them when they get home today. Their friends have been waiting for someone like them to come into their lives, or at least their dog will be jumping up and down when it sees them later. Really, there are probably just as many people who love them as there are that love you. The same goes for the harder things we have to go through in our lives. Bad news we hear may seem like great news to someone who's in a different situation. I'm not telling you to look at the bright side because that isn't what it means. All it means is that there is some good in everything, whether we feel it now or later, and that sometimes protecting your peace just means looking at things a little bit differently. In the best of times, sunshine is easy to see, and in the worst of times, it may seem like it's all gone, when really we just need to find it somewhere else. I had to be tucked into bed until I was about 10. So every night, my mom or dad would come upstairs, sing me a lullaby, and tell me a story, and sit with me until I fell asleep. That's embarrassing, but the point is that the stories they would make up always had a moment of redemption, and the good guy always won in the end, and the bad guy turned out just to be misunderstood. And naturally, my favorite lullaby was always "You Are My Sunshine." Until Mary Elise was the one driving me to school, my dad would drive the both of us, and we all said prayers together. Just as we took the exit from Sam Cooper onto Perkins, we'd reach the line, "Help them always see you through me," which came after a list of names of those we wanted to keep in our prayers. Saying this out of habit each morning never went away from me, but until I was singing it on my own, I never realized its meaning. Every morning, we would ask God to help us be the image of Him we were made to be. I've realized that since I was young, my parents have been teaching me not only that I was someone else's sunshine, but to be able to see that same light in others. I see God through Miss Millen when she brings cookies for our choir class, and through Michelle sharing her crafts with us on the grade group me. I see Him when my mom gets up early to make me breakfast, and when I see mine and Maha's matching blocks in the senior den, and when Presley is willing to ride shotgun when I need a pink drink at weird hours. I see Him in the 62 of you when we come together to celebrate a college decision, or someone brings a treat for the den when it isn't even senior snack. I've seen Him in St. Mary's for the past 12 years when I've been around for huge accomplishments and truly difficult times. And it can be hard to see the good on the more stressful days, but it's okay to admit that you have felt it here too. I want to encourage you to seek the sunshine in the people, places, and things we encounter that we see every day or that come up at the most inconvenient times possible. For you, that may not mean seeing God, maybe it just means seeing the best in someone, but either way, it's hard for us to do a lot of the time. Once you realize that a girl who did you wrong or the person who cut you off in traffic is loved just as much as you are, and that they are someone's sunshine, it becomes a little bit easier to give them the same grace we receive from the people who love us every day. To see the good in people, sometimes you have to try a little bit harder and change your mindset. Not everyone will love the same way you do, but that doesn't mean that they don't have their own sunshine or that they don't deserve to receive yours. And the next time you go through a day that seems to have nothing but bad news for you, think of all the people who love you and who are thankful to know you. We forget to remind each other of it sometimes, but I promise it's more people than you think. I want to thank all of my little sunshines and the images of God I get to see every day. Thank you for always giving me the grace I've needed and for being pure sunshine when I couldn't find my own. You may not remember to tomorrow, but today, let someone know that they are your sunshine. You never know how much they may need it. Thank you.